Hello my dear friends, I am Prashant Mahwani. I hope you all are doing good and a very warm welcome to StudyIQ. Today we are going to talk about this diplomatic gamble because the news is out. The news is that these two leaders, Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump, they are going to meet each other. Now I can understand this thing that it may sound very strange to many of you because it is difficult to digest this news item, because if we just turn some pages, right, if we go back in 2017, then we find this sort of terminologies, isn't it? This sort of words, fire and fury. Remember when Donald Trump said that North Korea is going to see or face a sort of destruction that the world has never seen. He also used this terminology called Rocket Man in United Nations General Assembly of 2017. At the same time, North Korea was also being very obnoxious. They were doing this nuclear test and ballistic missile program was in full swing. The way they were expanding their arsenal and increasing their nuclear arsenal was a matter of worry for the whole world. So today we are going to see what can we expect, or what are the things that we will find on the table when these two leaders or these two countries, when they will meet each other. What is or what are expectations of North Korea? What are expectations of USA from this meeting? What are the things that USA should be careful about, because North Korea is a bit of tricky country to deal with, and this news that they are going to meet each other is definitely a big surprise for the whole world. So let's analyze it. And before that, dear friends, I would like to inform all of you that this is my Facebook page here. As you can see on your screen, you can follow me, you can get in touch with me, and you will be able to download the PDF of this lecture from my Facebook page. Now, StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams. If you are preparing for UPSC, then your prelims are not far. We have got test series for you. Check out studyiq.com. We also cater UPSC's geography, international relations, and history, science and tech, as you can see on your screen, economics, ecology. Then we have optional subjects, defense exams, SSC, bank exams, state level exams, and much more on our studyiq.com. Just in case if you have any question or queries, you have chat support on our portal. You have these numbers. You can feel free and give us a call. Now let me introduce you to this particular region where you find this country of North Korea. I'm sure many of you are aware about it. If you are following our channel on regular basis, like news analysis, the Hindu news analysis, Hindi English, or if you are following PIBs and other current related programs, current affairs related programs, that we have displayed this area in the past as well. But today I'm not going to talk about this types of water or which sea is where, etc. Of course, I have got a question for you. I will bring it to you in a minute, but let me give you some background about this Korean peninsula and its history. Now you can see here, this is North Korea, this is its capital, this is South Korea, its capital is here. You see this 38th parallel is passing from this portion here. So many a times this border between North Korea and South Korea, or NKSK, is also termed as 38th parallel. Now, neighboring countries, you have China. China is sharing a very long border with North Korea. What China wants from North Korea is, China wants North Korea to behave. China does not want any puppet USA administrator or a president or prime minister or a new dictator that is a puppet man or woman of USA. They don't want this thing, because Kim Jong-un is a bit inclined towards China. Then you have a small border with Russia as well. And if we go back in the history of this Korean peninsula, that the reason why we have these two countries, NK and SK, is because back in 1950s, early 1950s, they had a war over here. It is known as a Korean War. And at that point of time, this North regime was supported by USSR, the South regime at present as well. Now we don't have USSR, but at present as well, we find the USA is strongly supporting South Korean regime because it is more democratic. Then you have this country, Japan here. Japan is not having good relation at all with North Korea. Russia and China, they are okay with it. China is the biggest trading partner of North Korea. You can also say that North Korea is entirely dependent on China. So China is a country that can exercise a bit of control on North Korea, and it is doing that thing because of pressure coming from different parts of the world. Of course, USA, and then you have Japan as well. Japan and China, they may sound, or it may sound that they are not that cordial with each other, but their investment in each other's country, particularly Japanese investment in China, and this trade between them is in billions, right? Billions. When I say billions, I'm talking about somewhere around $350 billion, right? This is their bilateral trade per year. So they cannot risk it for North Korea, for a troublemaking country, isn't it? So pressure from Japan is there. You have immense pressure from USA as well. Now, very interestingly, you know this, we have 5 countries in United Nations Security Council. These 5 countries, you have 2 here. One is China, the second one is Russia, then USA is not far from here. This is basically Pacific Ocean. So let me quickly show you. This is USA here, right? This is Pacific Ocean here. So we are talking about this range. So USA, and then you have UK and France. These are the 5 members. Now, very interestingly, what happens is whenever it comes to veto power, right, all these 5 countries, they become one. They act as a union. But on normal days, China and Russia are like in a team, and they are most of the time against USA. So they will use every opportunity in their hand to bully, or, you know, to corner USA, and so will USA too. Here USA, as I told you, is supporting South Korea, so it has its soldiers here. They do all these naval exercises and things like that. So I hope this thing is clear to you now. Of course, if I were you, then I would spend nearly 10-15 minutes after this particular region. I will open my good Atlas book and I will go through this region. Of course, after the lecture, you can take out 15-20 minutes. It's up to you. I will leave it on you guys to decide. But the reason why I say that you should spend a good amount of time after this thing is because in 2017, this particular region was in news for a very long period of time. So there are high chances that in forthcoming prelims, you may find a question pertaining to this area. Now, you know, Japan Sea is here. So can you guys give me the name of this water, right? What is the name of the sea that you find here? The first person to get it right, I will make sure that I personally congratulate that person for being up to date with this geography. With having said that, dear friends, now we're moving on. What took place back in 2017, particularly in July, North Korea said that, or it declared that now it is capable enough to hit this portion of USA. This is Alaska, right? It is a state of USA here. So it said that now its missiles can travel, nuclear capable missiles can travel this Alaska, and later on the second half, or nearly end portion of 2017, they declared this thing that now they can hit any part of USA, right? So this sort of news are, of course, quite shocking, right? A country like North Korea having this sort of nuclear weapons is not good for the world peace. So, you know, we faced this troubles where we in fact in India was as well not immune to this troubles going on in this part of the world, because our share market and other things, and you know, when USA and other countries are our big trading partner, Japan as well. So imagine just in case, God forbid, if they are in a state of war with each other, then everything will get chokehold here. So it will impact the whole world, no doubt, very negatively. So this was the thing back in 2017, and this is the reason why I say that it is very surprising news that now these 2 countries are ready to chat with each other. Now, how it all started? It all started with a series of inter-Korean talks. Basically, the lady that you can see on your screen, her name is Kim Yo-jong. She is very influential, and she is sister of Kim Jong-un. And the recently concluded Winter Olympics, she was present in South Korea. So this was the first gesture, or you can say the first big step. It is also said that the current head of South Korea, who is Mr. Moon is considered as a very refined, as well as he is master of this diplomacy. It is also said in many international media and many analysts, they say that this whole thing is taking place because of the strategy of Mr. Moon. He is the person who has persuaded Mr. Kim, or this North Korea, to come and join the table. So she visited this Winter Olympics. After that, it was followed by some officials from South Korea. They visited North Korea, and then they had a dinner meeting with Mr. Kim, and it was agreed that both these leaders, Mr. Kim and Mr. Moon, will meet each other, and it is said that they are going to meet each other April this year, April 2018. Within a month, hopefully they will meet each other. Apart from that, the biggest thing that came out from this meeting is that they took a message, a very important message for Mr. Trump by Mr. Kim, was passed on to this Korean officials. And what they did, they took straight away, they visited this Mr. Trump in White House. They had a meeting with Mr. Trump, and when this meeting was over, they got a message from, or they came to know about the position of Mr. Trump as well. And this was declared in this very quickly arranged press conference at White House, that Mr. Trump had agreed to meet Mr. Kim Jong-un. Basically, the message was that Kim Jong-un said that he is ready to meet Mr. Trump. As far as he has some sort of conditions, he said that we are ready to give up. This is what Kim Jong-un has said. He has said that he's ready to give up this nuclear program if Mr. Trump agrees to meet with him, and if after this meeting, if both these parties, if they agree with each other, then we can find a permanent denuclearization in this Korean peninsula. This officials, they have not stopped here. This National Security Advisor of South Korea, as we are speaking now, he is going to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping in maybe tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow, and Chief of Intelligence Agency of South Korea, he is going to meet Prime Minister Shinzo Abe of Japan. So you can see here that South Korea is taking everyone on board here. It is communicating, or it is explaining its position to USA. At the same time, it is also trying to win the confidence of China. And of course, Japan is a country that is supporting USA. It is a very good friend of USA as well as South Korea. So this, so far so good. Now let's see what USA wants out of it, or USA's stand. Now USA, right, this Trump administration has so far followed this strategy of maximum pressure and engagement. Now what it means by maximum pressure and engagement, let me elaborate it. A far tighter sanctions regime, right? As I told you earlier on, that USA has persuaded, it has forced China as well to cut down its business with North Korea. Coal is the main thing that North Korea is exporting to China, and because of USA's pressure, they have decided to cut it down. And this Kim regime is facing the pain, or it is going through the pain of this tighter sanctions as well. Remember this news item. If you are regular with news item, then you'll be aware about this thing, that back in 2017 USA said that they are going to intercept ships as well, merchant ships, and if they find their navy ships will once they get this intelligence report, then the naval ships will intercept this merchant ships, and if they find that a country is actually dealing with or sending or buying things from North Korea, then they will cut down bilateral relation or this trade relation with that particular country, isn't it? This was a big thing. This was a very, you can say, aggressive stand taken by USA at that point of time. And it was also said in media at that point of time, back in 2017, that this was basically a message for China. Apart from that, you have this enhanced deterrence with allies. You have Japan and South Korea. They do this military exercise here. And not only that, it's not just about military exercises and latest technologies and things like that. They have in fact calculated all the risks and costs associated with this military option, just in case if they are in a state of war with North Korea, then what is going to be the cost and what are the risks and things like that. Everything was done and dusted, and this was again a clear message for North Korea that USA at this point of, under this Trump administration, it means business. So it was a frightening thing for North Korea as well. It is not just about bark and no bite. It is definitely something that Trump administration was serious about. So this and the sanctions and other things, right, these are the things that that created this sort of pressure on North Korea, because what we see at present is that As per media reports, there are some experts in this matter, diplomats. They say that North Korea will run out of its hard currency by this October 2018. Apart from that, this is a thing, right? This is, you can say, a characteristic of dictatorship, that you will have couple of big business people or big business houses, right? And they are the ones who are supporting you with money and other things. So because of these sanctions and other things, this big business lobbies that are supporting this Kim Jong-un, they are losing huge amount of money. In fact, they have lost huge amount of money. So they are creating immense pressure on this leadership of North Korea. And this is these are two main reasons, right? Two main reasons why this Kim Jong-un, who was very, he was very adamant and very much cocky as well, not to chat with any other country people and this like. He was very harsh when we talk about his way of operating things since 2011. And not only him, his father as well as his grandfather as well. They were a bit aggressive when this USA was in consideration. So now these are the reasons why they have agreed to engage with USA. Now, what are the prospects? Should we talk with them or not? Of course we should. Of course the world community, particularly USA, should join them on table. This is a good decision from Trump's side as well, because this is a matter of concern for this neighbors as well, and this nuclear tensions are not good for anyone. Now let's go through the things that Mr. Kim Jong-un is expecting from this meeting. Kim Jong-un has always said, or he has came out with this policy called Byung-jing line. Byung-jing line basically means you are doing economic development, at the same time you are developing your nuclear weapons. Now, in normal circumstances, how it works is that, of course, when you are making money, when your country is making enough money, only then you would be able to support your science and technology and this sort of missions, isn't it? But Kim Jong-un, what he is trying to prove by this Byung-jing line is that he is producing nuclear weapons because he is having enough money. But the truth is this is not the truth, right? The real thing is that he is preparing this nuclear weapons because it is a sort of insurance card for his regime. He has said this many a times to the people of North Korea that look at the situation of Iraq. Iraq was attacked by USA because Iraq was not having, Saddam Hussein was not having this nuclear weapons. And because we have this nuclear weapons, this is the main reason why so far we are not charged or we are not attacked by USA and other world powers. And this is right as well. The nuclear weapons, right, they work as a deterrence. But this is not right thing, that when he is saying that economic development of North Korea is doing very well, not at all. It is under immense pressure, no doubt. Now what he is expecting from this thing, he is expecting a security assurance that he will not be kicked out, that someone else, right, will not take his place. And this is something that China is also seeking, because China, as I told you, does not want a puppet administrator here in its neighborhood. The other thing is, just in case if things goes wrong here in a war-like situation, you can imagine that refugee crisis will be there, and China does not want additional burden of this refugees in its border. So China is also happy that he has decided to chat, and China is also pitching for his security of assurance. Then you have this diplomatic recognition so that it can trade with other countries. So this basically he's talking about lifting sanctions incrementally or all of the sudden. Of course, he will ask for a sudden, he will say that I am going to stop my missile program now. So right now you take off all these sanctions on us, which is very dangerous thing if we accept. And of course, I don't think so anyone will accept this sort of thing. The other thing is possible peace treaty. Now this is a dangerous thing, because what possible peace treaty basically means is that if peace treaty is signed between all these parties, right, NK, SK and USA, then this army and this whole setup of military setup of USA will go back home in maybe 5-10 years. And you never know, after 5-10 years, when USA has completely stepped out of this South Korean side, then you may find, or there are high chances, right, this thing can happen, that NK can conduct a surprise attack and take over this South Korea. So this is something that we should be very careful of. At present, North Korea has halted missile and nuclear tests, and by doing this, Kim Jong-un is trying to indicate that he is very serious about this meeting, and there are high chances that they will meet May this year, right? May. It is said that they will meet in May. Before that, they are going to meet this Mr. Kim and Mr. Moon. They are going to meet in April. So let's wait for it so far. But we have to go through this USA's stand as well, what USA is asking for. The other thing is North Korea wants to be declared as a nuclear weapon state. So give them a green signal that they are nuclear weapon state, and they want this negotiation. It has always been a wish of North Korea to have a direct bilateral negotiations with USA. And what happens here, you know, USA is a very powerful country. North Korea, generally speaking, is a very rogue country. So when you allow, or when USA is having a direct bilateral negotiation with NK, so NK is basically placing itself on a high table. It is considering itself, or basically you are declaring this thing indirectly, that USA or North Korea is that powerful that it can directly discuss and deal with USA. And their, of course, short-term objective is to get some relief from these sanctions. Now let's go through USA's expectation. First of all, we have to understand this thing, that no sitting USA president has ever met the Kim regime, his father or his grandfather or this person at present. No sitting USA president has ever met this Kim regime. And you know, this President Carter and Clinton, they met this Kim regime, but only after they stepped out of White House. The other thing is, USA has always maintained this thing that permanent nuclearization of North Korea is the end game. That is the final solution. They have decided this thing, they have declared this thing. Without that, they are not going to consider it they are not going to consider this thing a deal at all in first place. And if they consider it deal, then they are not going to consider it as a complete deal. So permanent denuclearization. Now it is very difficult to imagine at present. Now it will require high level of diplomacy, right? Exceptional diplomacy to convince or persuade this North Korea to give up its insurance card. And other thing is this double freeze proposal, right? Double freeze proposal basically means that I will remove my weapons from here. I will remove this sanctions on you. Trump administration basically will pursue negotiation on a temporary freeze on North Korea's nuclear and missile tests in return of this reduction of American military presence in Korean Peninsula. Now the thing is, the logic behind this double freeze, that I remove my men from your peninsula, you cut down your weapons. USA is taking, or may go for this thing, because 25 years, more than 25 years, this North Korea is under sanctions, and USA knows this thing very well, that we have applied harshest sanctions on this country, but then as well they have improved their missile technology. So too much of sanctions again is not going to help. You have to use both these things, right? Carrots and sticks together. You have to keep a fine balance. So you give them a breathing space, and then again you choke them. So this sort of strategies will be applied. So double freeze is a thing that may take place, and there are some things that USA should be careful about, and the things are like they should take Japan and South Korea into consideration. I would personally reckon that they should also take China and Russia, because until and unless we have these 6 countries together, you have this South Korea 1, number 2 Japan, 3 is North Korea, of course, 4th is USA, 5th one is China, and 6th one is Russia. We need all these 6 players, right, on a table, and it should be very clear that first let them have a meet, this Mr. Kim and Mr. Trump, let them meet each other, and later on we can have all the 6 players together, and then we can move for it. Peace, permanent peace, or permanent denuclearization of this area. But it is very important that USA is taking Japan and South Korea into consideration. Now, at present, South Korea is ready. I told you about Mr. Moon, that he is a very refined diplomat. So he is ready for talk. He has kept all his doors open. He is ready to accept all the things. At least he is ready to listen to you. Whatever proposal you have, he will be all ears. But Japan has clearly stated this thing, that if you are just going to have a word with them, if you are just going to have a sort of formal chat with them, then we are not for it. We want some outcome, some proper outcome, because Japan is the only country in the world that has suffered this war of nuclear weapons. So it knows the pain, and Japan is very much worried about this thing. So it is clear when it talks with USA that if you are going to just have a talk, then drop this idea. If we want to engage with North Korea, then it should be a very serious thing. The other thing is that Pyongyang, or this North Korea, can play this double game as well. It can create cracks between these three countries, USA, Japan and South Korea. So this is a thing that they should be careful about. And one more red flag as far as North Korea is concerned is that they have a long track record of breaking its promises. So I'm sure all these things will be taken into consideration. And then you have this map here, right? Different pictures. Of course, it is going to take place in future, but probably, of course, they are not going to meet in USA or North Korea, maybe in China, or maybe this place here, but it looks like more in international waters or somewhere else, because Sweden as well is going to be party of this talk. It is also said that Switzerland is also going to be part of this, and there are high chances that China will be there on board as well. Now, what could be the outcomes? Last possible outcome or final remark: either it could be yes, either it is going to be good for us or bad for us. One thing we should keep in mind is that we are dealing with a very tricky country here, and we have to very, you can say, erratic, or very, Mr. Trump as well is known for sudden decisions. I'm not saying he's wrong, but he is a bit, he always has this surprise element. So let's wait and watch, and let's hope that everything is kushti, or everything is fine. The final results are for global peace. With this, dear friends, I end this discussion. Make sure you check out StudyIQ.com for our pen drive and tablet courses. Do let me know what you think about this lecture, and do try to give me the answer of that question regarding that particular sea that you find between China and North Korea and South Korea. And that's everything that I have got for you guys. Thank you very much for listening to me. Enjoy your rest of the day. God bless you all. Jai Hind.